Yes, this lady.
Hello Barry, I met you for the first time last year and my life's changed considerably since then.
Hello, Barry. I met you for the first time last year, and my life has changed considerably since then, and I want to thank you for that.
I can go along with all of your teachings, but I would like you to clarify something for me.
I can go along with all of your teachings, but I'd like you to clarify something for me.
Without me consciously looking for it, as a part of a sequence of events that started with, I suppose you could call it, communication with people with life after death, higher beings, greater intelligences, and you did in your seminar last year touch on ETs. Without even looking for all of these things, they've kind of come into my consciousness and I've accepted it, and they have guided me more into me.
Righto. And that's in the last year, has it?
No, this has been an
ongoing thing in me. There's an ongoing thing in me to do with higher intelligences, other beings, and you spoke about last year about ET, extraterrestrial intelligence, but this has come more and more into my life and have guided me. These beings or higher intelligence have guided me, and of course that's an area that in my teaching I ask you to be very wary of. But what would be your question?
Well, where does it fit into your teaching? You did touch on ETs last year, but someone came in with a question and you didn't quite finish it. And I do remember you said something about ETs as part of ourselves, I think, coming back from the future. I can't remember specifically. But as these things have happened in my awareness without me asking for them, and they've guided me more and more into what I would term God realization, and now I'm like going beyond all of that. As it came without my seeking, I know it has to play a part.
All this guidance came without my seeking. And would you like to describe how the guidance comes?
Well, it first started about 10 years ago, where without any volition, people who were dead started communicating with me.
About 10 years ago, people who were dead started communicating without any attempt by me to make communication with them.
And then it's gone on to more...
What did they tell you?
Well, first of all, it was like proving their survival to other people I'd never met, and that was life-changing for them because...
Proving what? I'm sorry.
Proving their survival to people...
Proving less?
Proving
us the survival of the dead.
To people that I'd never met before, giving them, actually seeing them and being able to pass on to the fact that that person, through me, was able to tell them that a part of them was living on.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I was able to see people who were dead and I didn't necessarily know, and I was able to pass on to other people about survival after death. I mean, that is quite a common thing, as being having that psychic ability to see the dead. That is relatively common. It's uncommon, of course. So there's nothing surprising about that.
Right. So
the only thing is that you can't get fixated on that because it is not spiritual. It might be about psychic survival after death, but psychic survival after death is not life beyond death, which is the spirit. So there's a psychic band there in which all these things happen, and there's voices, and there's guidance, and there's so-called higher beings, and there's channelers. They're all in this area of the psyche. They're not the truth.
But there's nothing wrong in receiving.
No, as long as you don't...
see it as the ultimate.
Yes, as long as you don't get involved in it and start giving classes in it and how to make spiritual contact with other, that sort of thing. Once you get into that, you start to identify with this psychic band. And it's very difficult to get out of, because then the psyche start making demands on you, to contact, like a channeler. They start, once you open yourself to a channeler and they get you, they get you because you've got to open yourself to the channel, and then they gradually, through their revelations being disembodied, they have great knowledge of past and future being disembodied, they start to amaze you with their revelations, and the brain gets excited and the mind gets excited, and then you get hooked, and then they start to give you their teaching and all the rest of it through there, and you think it's a great contribution, and then you start to give your life to that. And where I come from, that is not right, because they are disembodied beings, and a disembodied being is an irresponsible being, because the only place that I can communicate the truth is while I am responsible for this body. After that, I have no place in trying to communicate the truth to the people. But that's my view on channelers.
So could you kind of pick up on what you didn't finish last year about ET?
About ET? Well, did you read my science article?
I did.
Well, when I say you are cosmic beings, I mean you are cosmic. A cosmic being is life on Earth. A cosmic being. There's only one cosmic being called the Earth. You see, there can be a Mars cosmic being, if there is such a thing, and there can be a Saturn cosmic being, but all we know is the cosmic being of the Earth, because we are Earthlings. Right? Makes sense? Right? Now, being a cosmic being, it's certainly not limited to a little body called Barry Long or Jill Smith. It's just that's only the appearance. The mind breaks up that cosmic being into billions of little bodies and things. That's what the sense machine inside, and the mind and the brain does. It breaks it all up into many billions of beings. But really, the truth is that as it gets back here, it's only one being, and it's cosmic. As the Earth is a cosmic body. Now, therefore, if that is true, that the Earth is a cosmic intelligence, which is what a being is, intelligence, a cosmic being, it is part of a cosmic system in which there are other cosmic beings. As I said, there could be Mars cosmic being, and then there could be something else, another cosmic being. But altogether, when you put them all together, they are the being. Because any being cannot be separate in its own right, like the Earth cannot be separate in its own right, because it's a part of the Sun. And so it is part of the solar being. Although it's differentiated as we are differentiated as bodies from the terrestrial being or the Earth being. We're separated from that, but we are still part of the terrestrial being. And so the terrestrial or Earth being is part of the solar being. You see, we're now talking cosmically, we're not talking limitedly. And then within that is life and death, as you heard me talk about, but that's a little system that we are associated with as life and death and living. But talking cosmically, there is a great intelligence behind that. And that is the infinitude of intelligence, which is God, which finally becomes the one being which embodies all beings. And although all beings like us have their own individual integrity, they are still a part of another being, a higher being. And they will eventually disappear into that higher being, and that higher being will eventually disappear into that higher being, and so until eventually all is the one being, and that, of course, is God. And why I discourage too much interest in other beings and higher beings is that I say it's all God, so that I get rid of the middlemen and middle things, even though they might exist. As an attachment in any way, I get rid of that by saying it's all God. Everything that is good and guides is God. That's it, and that's the end of it. But that's not to deny that you don't have contact with dead people or higher beings, and there are higher beings, no doubt. You don't know. Pardon? Higher. Faster intelligence, less attached to the Earth. But someone whose life after death is still attached to the Earth, they're still attached to the Earth, or they wouldn't be in contact. So they're not a higher being. They're a disembodied being. So, but I'm not being condemnatory in any way, what you're doing, because it is given to some people to see the dead.
It just all came in with a feeling, because it is a feeling, and I was wondering, I can't block it out.
Well, I don't know that it's a feeling. I think really it'll be sensational myself. I think anything that's, I mean, you can get, someone can come in with a feeling of depression, you know, from a dead person. They read, telemetry, I think it's called. Some people have this psychic ability to pick up an instrument or a piece of jewelry, and they say, I have the feeling of deep depression. Whoever this belongs to or did belong to has a very depressed life. Now, what does it concern? It concerns the death of somebody, and they haven't recovered from it. And yes, they're still very unhappy. Now, that is a fact, and that is a truth. That's a psychic truth, that some people have that ability to do it. So they would have to feel a feeling from the feelings of the person that they're reading. But I would say that person does not need to be depressed. That's a feeling, so therefore it's an interpretation of their existence, and therefore a negativity, and it should not exist. You know, you can see that, and that's why we've got to, as much as possible, give up our feelings, which are all, if you get a feeling of joy, then I think it goes more towards the sensation, because sensation is pure. And more towards a sensation of joy coming from something, then that is good. Because you must remember that everything that is good, and truly good, and not just by feelings, is God. Now, there is no greater truth than what I'm going to tell you. No greater truth. And first of all, I'll quote the Old Testament, which is the one that often has the greatest truth in it. Every good and perfect gift comes down from the Father of lights, who knows no shadow of turning, which means no change or wavering. Every good and perfect gift comes down from the Father of lights, the highest being, who knows no change or wavering. Now that means, a highest being means the fastest intelligence that is fast enough to embrace the whole. That's all. And that's what we're endeavouring to do, to be more intelligent so that we can embrace the whole. Because we only embrace that little bit. And we're endeavouring to give up ourselves, which narrows our vision, so that we can get faster, swifter in intelligence, and able to embrace the cosmic whole, the being, you know, to be the being, without having to question it or doubt it or fear it. That's what speed is. And we're all endeavouring here to get that speed by giving up myself, my negativity, which slows me down, as we know, by giving up all the things I've spoken about as the self, to make me a free spirit, so that I'm not bound by myself to my limited life of worry and concern and unhappiness. To give that up. And then I start to get the intimations of being a free spirit, free, part of some being, you know, that I am. Right?